Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. Welcome to the new year. We've talked a little bit in this new year about several different things. Usually I try to talk about things that people ask questions about. But the past couple times we've been talking about fraudulent funds and money being sent to the wrong place and your email being hacked with respect to your closing and why we need to be looking out for that. And we talked about that a lot, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore right at the moment because we have talked about it a lot. But if there's a question you have that you're not sure about, certainly reach out to me. So if you have continued questions about that or other subjects, that means other people do too. But this morning I wanted to start talking about, for the beginning of the year, definitions, terms, things that come up during closing that you probably don't understand. There's so much being thrown at you, how much money you need, information about the contract, doing things with the mortgage. You have to pick a title company. What does a title company do? So what I wanted to talk about for the next couple of weeks is terms that may come up during your closing or during the process or during the mortgage process that maybe you don't understand. So I'm going to talk about some terms that are regular questions that we have that maybe are things that you don't know. But I certainly would love it if you reach out if you have specific questions that you don't understand or specific terms that you reach out to me. That's what Coffee with Connie is all about, is helping you understand what happens during the process of buying a home, selling a home, refinancing your home, doing a mortgage, going to closing. And I'm going to qualify by saying, a lot of you know this, but some of you new to our broadcast maybe don't. I own a title company. I've owned a title company for over 30 years. We do closings in both Maryland and Virginia, but a lot of the information that I talk about is not state specific. It is true throughout the country. So if it is going to be state specific, then I'll talk about that and let you know. I don't know everything there is to know about real estate or mortgages, but I do know a lot of really good professionals that do. And so the things that I don't have experience with will definitely defer to those professionals. So hi there, Sheila. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I think this is probably your first time, so thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to talk about the closing disclosure. So there's lots of different terms that you're going to see come up, and the closing disclosure is one of the newer terms that we've seen because it took the place of another document. So the closing disclosure is the actual form that you will review and sign at the closing. It's the document that talks about, for the buyer's respect, it talks about all of the information about your loan and all of the costs and expenses, and deposits or credits that are going to happen through your closing. Hey there, good morning, Skip, how are you? So the closing disclosure will actually enumerate all the information about your new loan if you're the buyer or you're borrowing money. And it'll explain all of the terms of that loan. It'll also go through every single expense with respect to your closing, and it'll also go through every single credit with respect to your closing. And let's talk about those expenses and credits for a minute, because there's a lot of things that go involved with this. So when we're talking about credits, we're talking about things like you're borrowing money to buy the home and to pay some of the costs. So those that would be considered a credit because it's going towards your expenses. Hey there, good morning, Angela. How are you this morning? So the deposit that you put down, that's a credit. It's going to go towards the cost that you have to pay. Maybe the seller agreed to pay some closing for you. That's a credit. That's going to go towards some of the expenses that you need to pay. So those are credits or things being paid towards your cost, and those are going to be spelled out in the closing disclosure. The other thing is, in the closing disclosure, you're going to have all the expenses that it takes to buy this house. So you may have some expenses to the mortgage company that you need to pay. You may need to pay for an appraisal fee, a credit report fee. You're going to need to pay some interest on that loan. You're going to need to set up your escrow accounts, which we'll talk about in another definition. But basically, those are savings accounts to make sure that the lender can pay your taxes and insurance every year. And they're going to collect a little bit of that at closing to make sure they have enough the first year to pay that full bill. You're going to have the cost to do your closing. You're going to have cost to the title company. You're going to have the cost for the insurance that protects your ownership. You're going to have the cost for your homeowner's insurance. If you had a termite inspection done or a home inspection, you're going to have those costs. If you had a survey done, you're going to have that cost. You're going to have the cost for recording the documents in the county where the property is located. Those are called transfer and recordation taxes, another definition we'll talk about in the future, but basically they're sales taxes to the county and the state for purchasing this property. They're going to have recording fees to record the documents that secure and protect your ownership. And you may have some additional costs that you need to pay. Maybe you did some additional things. Maybe there was some work done on the property that you agreed to pay for. Maybe you agreed to pay something for the seller. Maybe there was a well and septic test that you were paying and the seller wasn't. So any expenses that you agreed to in your contract or with your mortgage, those are going to be shown on the CD. And then the CD is like a math worksheet. You add all of the expenses together, and you come up with a total number. You add all the credits together, you come up with a total number, and when you subtract the two, that's what you need at your closing. That's how much money you need at your closing. And those funds that you need at your closing, you're going to get a really good estimate from your lender up front, probably within a couple days of making that loan application, so that you have a really good idea what that should look like. Now, that may fluctuate a little bit because some of those figures are tied to when you actually go to closing, and so some of them may change a little bit from when he makes your disclosure, he or she, excuse me, makes your disclosure for you at the initial loan application and when you actually go to closing. Shouldn't change a whole lot, but that should be a really good idea of what you're going to need for closing. So the closing disclosure is what breaks down all those numbers, and it's usually the very first thing that is reviewed at the closing. So you know exactly, you know exactly what you're going to need for that closing as far as the funds involved. And then you're going to go through the other documents that need to be reviewed and signed at your closing. So there's samples of all of these documents on our website, www.footetitlegroup.com. If you go to the buyer's page and go to the sample documents package, you can actually download samples of what all the documents most of the documents you might need to sign at your closing, so you have the opportunity to review some of this stuff in advance. Now, it's not going to have all of the blanks filled in, and it's certainly not going to have your specific information, but it'll give you an idea of what some of that looks like, so you don't have to go into your closing and have no idea what you're going to be looking at. Because when you go into closing, there's lots of different things that are going on, and a lot of different people sitting at the table, so it can get a little confusing, and we don't want you to feel that confusion. So hopefully I gave you a little bit of information today about something you didn't know about. As I said, all through December, December, goodness gracious. All through January, I want to talk about definitions, terms, things that you might not know what they mean. And so if you have something going on, maybe you're buying a house or you're refinancing or you're selling a house, and there's a term you don't understand, reach out to me, let me know, and let us talk about it so everybody else can understand that too. The other thing I really ask is, as many of you follow me frequently, please click that share button below, because when you hit the share button, it allows you to share the broadcast with people that you know, because there are people that I don't know, and they may have the same questions or may have additional questions that we need to talk about. So I'd really love that if you could help, because at Foote Title Group, we're all about making sure the details are done correctly. You understand everything that you've got going on. You're kept in the loop every step of the way. But we also are very passionate about education and making sure that we provide you information and make this process as simple as possible, because you should be having fun when you buy your new house. You should enjoy this process because this is exciting. You're buying your dream home, and we want to make sure that you understand what you're doing and there's no uncomfort level. So hopefully I helped you a little bit today. I love talking to you guys, and I love it when you ask me questions. So please do that. You can reach me through this broadcast or Connie at footetitlegroup.com, or you can reach any of our team members through our website, again, www.footetitlegroup.com. And be sure to download our latest feature, which is a comparison between maybe some ideas between buying a new home and buying a home that someone else has owned, what the advantages and disadvantages might be between the two of those. You can download that on our website right on the homepage. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you again later this week. And if you have any questions, reach out and let me know. I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group. Thanks so much for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.